afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Just the usual reminder for the cameras at the back, we'll do two sections. First one's for immediate use, and then the second one is for 10:30 this evening. Mark, what starts off?
Afternoon, Ralph.
Hello.
We start obviously with the current situation in the news, and obviously everyone's really concerned about what may or may not happen. What's the latest advice and guidance you've been given from your medical team about how to operate here at Southampton?
So the latest is at first that we are focusing on the game on the weekend. It should happen. That's the last information I have. If with supporters or without, I think this is from day to day. We have to look what is the latest information. At the moment, it looks that we have a normal game on the weekend. So what we do now is try to focus as much as possible on the game on the weekend. Train every day, what we do normally. Try to avoid any other, too much social contact we have, and do what everybody does, minimize the risk to spread the virus, and waiting for other informations.
Have you had to speak to your players? Are they concerned about what's going on? Is their mentality a bit fragile, or have you made it sort of quite open for them to come and discuss things that they may be worrying about?
Yeah, I think it's normal that there are in the moment more important things around us to focus on than football, and then it's not so easy to bring the focus back on the pitch if you need to. The good thing is if you're on the pitch and train, then you forget a little bit about what happens in the moment and enjoy maybe playing with your team. The atmosphere is good, but everybody when you step off the pitch is looking on the newest informations, and you can follow all over the world the problems we have with the virus, that it's spread very quick, and so it's normal that you are immediately looking.
How upsetting would it be to have to play games potentially behind closed doors where you can't feel the atmosphere of the fans because they're so key to any sporting event?
Yeah, I think it's sure not the same sport if you want. When you play it feels maybe more like a training game or something like that. But if we can manage to end the league with playing indoor, then it would help, I think, for the competition if it's important. But in general, I think the break that will come after this game is important. All we have to do in a moment is to make everything possible that the virus is not spreading so quick. I think this is the goal we all have. And if it helps to play indoor or to play without supporters or anything else, we have to do it, and we have to deal with it, because this is the most important thing in the moment, and everything else is not so interesting.
Obviously, you've been on a challenging run recently. It's 5 defeats in your last 6 games in all competitions. Have you seen a good energy about training? Have you seen a positivity from your players and a togetherness?
Yeah, as I said, we had a difficult game the last weekend with 1 man down, and I think the players know that it's now an important game on the weekend for us, but also for Norwich, and in the end a big chance before the break to get another 3 points to go to 37. We are still in a good position, I think, and we know that the last weeks we didn't take points that consistently like in the term before. We have a few issues with injuries. This is still the same, so we must find back to a winning track now. Musa is out with the suspension, so we have a few problems, but like all the teams have.
Talking about the team news, as you touched upon it there, what's the latest? Obviously a few doubts, like you say.
Yeah, as I said, it's not the most interesting thing in the moment to speak about injuries for my players. We have a few ones. Reddy is still out. Musa is suspended. Stewie Armstrong is back in training. This is good. And the rest is so far fit.
Obviously, Stuart Armstrong coming back will be a big boost.
Yeah, gives me another opportunity to understand this is good. The other chance would be maybe thinking about changing of the shape if it's necessary. We have a few options in our mind, and let's have a look.
Are games against the side at the bottom of the league in Norwich City potentially quite dangerous, because you look at the points tally they have and the games that they failed to win and not picked up so many points, but are these the games that can be most dangerous because they could surprise you?
No, they cannot surprise us, because when you look on their last results they had at home against very good teams, very good sides, shows, I think, how different this team is in the moment. This side is playing fantastic with the ball, and against the ball they get better and better organized. So it's absolutely surprising that they only have 21 points, I think. So we are really aware of the opponent, and we know that this is a very tough game for us.
Do you see similarities between Southampton and Norwich, the way they try and play younger players, play an attractive brand of football, develop players through the academy? Do you see similarities between the two clubs?
Yeah, I see that they are sticking 100% to their philosophy, and it's absolutely fantastic what they do with the limits they have. But I think they did a fantastic job this season, although they have only 21 points. But when I see them playing, as I said, it's really surprising for me that they don't have more. So we know that it is a very, very tough game, especially in their grounds, and we go there and expect the most difficult game for us.
And of course, you beat them earlier on in the season 2-1. Will that line-up or team have any bearing on this, or have they transitioned so much and perhaps even playing with more confidence at the moment?
Yeah, I think they had not so much transition, and we have a few other players now on the pitch because of injuries or leaving us in the winter break. So like all, the new game for us, and I think for us it's important that we stick to our game plan. And we had in the first game 2 goals from set pieces, and then a very, very tough second half where they showed how dangerous they can be with the ball, and we must be very, very good disciplined against the ball, good committed, online all the time, and this would be the focus for the weekend.
You've mentioned the 36-point mark being important. It was the amount of points you needed to stay in the Premier League last season. The fact that you could potentially get to 37 with a win this weekend, and then obviously with a break afterwards. How nice would it be for you to go into that break knowing you've got a points tally that you're comfortable with, that in theory should keep you in the Premier League?
Yeah, every win you take is important and gives you confidence, and as soon as you get these points, the quicker you get it, the better it is. And we know that we have still nine games to play, so we must take the points as quick as possible. We know that you have afterwards the break. We want to show our away face, if you want, again. This was for a long time in the season a very good one, and this is what we have to show.
And finally, for me, there was stuff in the media this week about the ownership of the football club. Does that concern you in any capacity, or are you very much focused with the ownership and the position of the club financially?
Not at all. As I said, there are in the moment really other things that that has more impact in you, and you're thinking more about. So this is the last thing. It's interesting in the moment for us.
Adam?
Ralph, when you play the team at the bottom of the table, are you under more pressure to win? So many of your away performances have been brilliant when you've not necessarily been expected to win matches. Is there a different pressure because they're bottom of the table?
No. If anybody looks only on the table to see the strength or the weakness of a team, then I cannot help him, because that never says the truth about the quality of the team. And if you see them playing at the moment, they are not easy to play in their ground. Had a few very good games, lost against Liverpool 1-0 at home. So this is absolutely a team that is not easy to play against, and we know, but it's not it's not surprising for us. We are always focusing on the most difficult exercise we have, and we go there not to think it's easy. We go there because we think we have to show a really, really good performance, and then we can get something. And the last away performance was maybe the worst in this season against West Ham. So we have to show a reaction for this game, and we will do.
I think we all admire the way they try and play the game, and they've beaten Manchester City and Leicester at home already this season. But they are bottom of the table, so I think we all want them to do well, but there must be a reason why they're bottom.
Yeah, I think they had. What was interesting for me is that they were always sticking to their game plan. It is a lot of possession. It is a very brave way to play. And in the beginning of the season, yeah, they had sometimes games where they paid the bill for this. But if you stick to this, you will learn quick, and you see a team that had learned from this defeats, and it's very brave to go this way. And I think when they stick it until the end, they will pick up a few more points for sure. Hopefully not against us.
Some people have criticised Daniel Farke for not changing his game plan and maybe losing games where if they'd been more defensive, so-called experts think they might have got something from the game. But are they a better club long-term for having that philosophy every match? Are the players improving because of that?
Maybe yes, but football is not only long-term plan, it's picking points consistently every week. So you have to go in the exam every week, every weekend, and sometimes 3 times a week. So this is always the difficult you have as a manager. On the one thing, you look for the big picture, and on the other thing, on the other side, you look for the daily work, for daily delivery, if you want. And this is something of a challenge every manager has. And but I must say that I'm looking positive to this club because I like the way they work.
It is actually a very modern challenge for a manager, isn't it? Because if you could go to a club like you might do 10, 20 years ago and know you've got 3 years or 5 years for the project, without the pressure that we get this day and age, you've got more chance of being successful. But the immediacy of success that everyone wants makes it very hard for all of you in your jobs to actually develop it.
Yeah, this is right, especially because you know about the difference from Premier League to first to Championship. So not only the financial difference is a big one, also the interest in the games and everything. And so you have to do the first target. The most important target is to stay in the league. And you know that we had also a very, very difficult term in autumn where we were really struggling, and then found back in the winning track just in time over Christmas, where we had a lot of games and took a lot of points. But beside this, you're always focusing on the academy, on what you can develop in the club. We have also a few targets beside our daily work to take points, where we must look for the future and bring this club in a position where he can be competitive in the future, because we have our limits, and to push these limits, it's not enough to look only on our daily games.
Just finally, slightly cheeky question. When I look at the way you play and encourage young players, and I look at the way their fullbacks, for instance, are very advanced and they're very attacking, Lewis and Aarons and Godfrey in the middle of the defence. If they go down, have they got players you'd look at?
It's good that you sometimes are sitting here inside and ask. Yeah. No, I think. At first, I think we have to manage to stay in the league. I think this is the most important thing. Otherwise, they will pick our players. So let's first look at our challenge that we have, and before we look on anything else.
Ralph, I know obviously the idea behind saying that you wouldn't worry about futures, or you put any talk of that on hold until you secure for next season, and obviously that's worked with some results and things. One element of that we haven't talked about is have you been able to kind of say to the players, you've got to earn the right to talk about your future by securing the club's Premier League status, earn the right, to get that job done, and then you earn the right to worry about the future. Is that a fair way of looking at it?
Yeah, I think it's one way when you remember in what struggling term we have been, then you maybe can imagine that the only focus should have been on our performance and on our games we play. And as soon as we have the points that gives us the right to play the next year in the Premier League, then we can speak about everything. Yeah? Maybe also the players then have a better argument. Yeah? So it's not always negative for them. Yeah? At first show up, then you have maybe better arguments to ask for more. And I think this is a very healthy way to perform and to make a club minimize the risk for both sides. And this was the decision we took, and I think it was a good one.
Obviously, this is the kind of time when players and agents and clubs are looking. Is it hard to stick to that plan, or is it easy to do it?
At the moment, I think they stick to other plans. So it's about not speaking about new contracts. As I said, the virus has also an impact on the transfer market. You cannot travel in the moment, or not so much. You cannot look at other players, either on the videos. When you want to speak to one, then maybe you do it with FaceTime, but don't meet personally. So also in this part of our business, the impact is a big one. So it would be interesting what the next transfer period will bring.
Thanks. We'll move on to the second section for 10:30.